Today we are interviewing Robert Gill, artist for many companies, Marvel, DC, Valiant, IDW, most famously known for X-Force, Old Man Quill, and currently working on Marvel's Blood Hunters, which is a continuation of the Blood Hunt storyline. Horror is back, and Robert Gill is at the forefront. Enjoy this interview.
Hey, we're here today with comic book artist Robert Gill. How you doing, Robert?
How you doing? Hi guys. Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you for being on.
Thanks
for
for
taking
agreeing.
time. We always get surprised when
Yeah.
comic creators say yes to us.
Well, it's been a while since I've been asked. I feel like I did interviews a lot back years ago, but then I just feel like no one, well, I shouldn't say nobody, but they just kind of dried up there. I don't know if people were just more interested in just, I'll be honest, sometimes I feel like it's more focused on the writers than the
Right.
artists in a lot of years. So I haven't seen much on my end for anybody asking for interviews and stuff. So you guys have been the first in a while.
That's good. I'm glad. And we're here because I am enjoying this immensely.
The Blood Hunters. Yeah, I just finished that up
How many issues is it?
on Friday. 5 issues. Yeah,
5 issues. So 3 came out on Wednesday,
yeah. Three just came out.
and then so there's 2 more. Okay. And what's happening afterwards? Is there any plans?
Yep. Yeah. No,
We know that yup. That's the yup I can't talk about right now.
I can't talk.
well,
We know that yup.
nothing's been announced, so I'm not going to say anything. But yeah, I've wrapped that up, and I'm already jumping into something else. I'm not sure when that will be announced.
Okay.
I will say it's not with Marvel. It's something else, and I'm excited about it. And it's working with some people I worked with a long time ago, so we're kind of getting back together again. So it's pretty cool.
Okay.
I'm excited for it. It's a short little thing, but yeah. Hopefully maybe they'll say something soon. I don't know.
Okay. So have you always been a comic book fan?
Oh yeah, since I was a kid.
So what got you into comic books? Like, what's your history of reading and then becoming a professional?
Yeah, I mean that started way back when I was a kid. When my mom took my brother and I grocery shopping at the mall, when they still sold like comics at the mall and stuff and stores at the mall. I just happened to fall into picking up the old EC Comics reprints of Tales from the Crypt, Vault of Horrors, stuff like that. And I started reading those, and I was just like, wow, like what is this?
How
What
old
is
were you
this?
about?
Huh? Sorry.
How old were you about?
Oh, that was that about 10 or so.
Mhm.
And so by then I had also known that I liked to draw a lot because I was always drawing. I was drawing in elementary school and just whatever, I was thinking. And then I started picking up the comic books and said, oh, you can make these like with drawing. Like I can draw these. And so I started reading those horror books, which I really liked, and then which eventually led me over to discovering Marvel comics and stuff. And I remember Captain America was one of the first books I got, and still remember the arc was when he was Cap Wolf back
Oh
in
yeah,
the
yeah,
90s.
yeah.
If anybody remembers that,
Yep.
Mhm.
I still remember that very clearly. And then it just ballooned from there. It went all the Marvel stuff, the Captain America stuff, Spider-Man, X-Men, and then DC comics with Superman, Batman, and then um, that was like all I consumed when I was younger and throughout the 90s. I spent all my allowance every week instantly on comics. I had a huge collection of books. Um, so that was pretty much how I was like, yes, well, this is what I want to do.
Right.
I love this. Like, I want to do comics. Like, I can draw. You know, I started. I immediately went to like writing my own or drawing my own books on copy paper. Stapling them together and stuff like that. So from there, it was just a matter of just always drawing, always doing comics. I went to art school in Boston, and just started submitting work straight out of college.
And
Just
what's your first published work?
first published work was Angel Spotlight Connor book for IDW, which
Okay.
is a Buffy the Vampire Slayer kind of spin-off book way back. That was probably 2000. That must have been 20 years ago, right? Somewhere around there. I mean, but it was sporadic at first because I had that first one-off book, and then nothing happened for a while, and then a little bit later on, I started picking up small issues or work with did Dable Brothers Publishing, which I don't even think exists anymore. Arcana Books, Arcana Publishing.
You know,
We've come across those.
yeah.
And then Zenoscope, I kind of fell into, and I did some one-off books with them, and then I did an Alice in Wonderland story.
Okay.
And that was like a 6-issue thing, and that was a big thing for me at the time because that was like my first. That was like kind of a first bigger story because that was I believe it was 6 issues. It was probably the longest I was only doing one-offs till then. So I did those, and then after that, I kind of didn't do any work for a while because the Zenoscope stuff. Unfortunately, the financials of working on that tier of comics and stuff isn't that great,
Right.
and whether I know the page rates were super low. I was still trying to work part-time, a part-time job and stuff, and it just wasn't working out. So, I kind of stopped doing that for a bit.
Okay.
Took a job at an art store around where I lived and did that for about a year and a half, kind of got my act together a bit more and started resubmitting. And then I got, eventually I went to New York Con in like 2013, maybe.
Okay.
Mhm.
I can remember this right. And then submitted my work. I was talking to an editor. I was talking to Katie Kubert before that, who was editing like Batgirl and stuff. And so I met her at New York Comic Con. I had my portfolio, and she wanted to hire me for a gig. And then Scott Lobdell, who is I don't think no longer part of comics anymore or whatever, but he had seen my work over our shoulder, and he took me around to everybody he knew, and then that sort of like was the catalyst for everything now, because that got me in with like Marvel and DC and Valiant, and like I got a lot of offers to do work, and I went with Valiant for a while because they had a lot of work and stuff that they wanted me to do, so I was kind of off and running, and so I've been doing it full time now since then, so that's about 11 years.
So that's, I mean, New York Comic Con is a big, I don't think a lot of people realize that's a big part of New York Comic Con, that a lot of artists and creators go and make connections there. And that's how they kind of get their start, that you get seen by someone there who brings you, like you said, brings you over, and that's how it works. So
Yep, yeah, and the couple years before that, I had gone there and I just submitted my portfolio, and I know I got reviewed by both Marvel and DC prior to that, but nothing came from that.
right.
As far as work goes, like I met some editors, I met people, which is good, and that's what you want to do, because then you can take those emails home with you, and then you can submit your stuff continually with the editors, and you just be nice about it and ask, can I show you some more work? And they're usually really helpful, and they always were very constructive with their critiques, and to say, hey, like you need to work on your anatomy, you need to work on your storytelling, your pacing, or your composition, your panels. So that's sort of invaluable advice to me. And even though maybe I didn't get any work prior to that, but the advice and the connections that you make are very important.
Yeah, and I don't think a lot of people realize that New York Comic Con, when you're there, and we were just there this past weekend.
Mm-hmm.
You maybe you go to an artist table and the artist isn't there. A lot of times they're not there because they're meeting with someone else, and they're talking about future work and building connections, and that's
mm-hmm.
it's the thing that the fans don't realize, that you guys aren't really there for us. You're there to make your connections, to further your career at point.
Yeah, it's definitely a mix. I mean, it's definitely awesome to be there for you guys and for the fans, because it's probably one of the few times you can actually get the face-to-face time, because usually we're in our holes,
Right.
by ourselves all day drawing comics. So it's nice to get out and meet people. At the same time, there is a business element there that says, okay, I need to talk to the guys at Marvel, DC, and mingle and see what's going on, because that's part of it. I know a lot of people I don't want to say need to do that, but they look forward to do that, to try to garner some more work for themselves.
Right.
Know what's going on, because even on the editorial stuff, it's good to talk and face to face and keep yourself in their radar. But like comics are interesting because you never know like what jobs are gonna pop up. So it's always like right place, right time. So you kind of gotta always want to be like ready for that. And with the con itself, there's always these, DC had it, Marvel has like their own, nice, back of the office areas where everybody like congregates to, and it's kind of cool to first be taken up there. and see what's going on that level, especially for me, for being a fan for so long and kind of transitioning into being on the professional side. You get to see the inner workings of what's going on at the cons, and
So
it was always
who was someone big that you met that really like you were like, oh my God, I'm meeting.
Mark Silvestri. I always
Yeah.
just that what got me, because I loved this stuff back as a kid, and even now, and then just I was brought like rocked right up to him, and he said hi and everything, and he offered me a job. Like I got his email and stuff,
Oh,
and
that's cool.
it was really awesome. I didn't take that job; it didn't work out, but it was always awesome just to meet someone like that, and
Yeah.
as a fan, as a professional, say, holy shit, here's this guy, like,
That I used to read, and now here,
yeah,
look at
just
this
walk
art.
right up to him, hey, what's up, yeah, but so.
That's cool. Now, how would you describe your style of art?
Mine, I would probably say it's boring, to be honest, to me. Um, I feel like I kind of, I guess to describe it would be sort of more realistic,
I wouldn't say that.
That
somewhat,
doesn't look
somewhat.
boring.
I know that's just
No.
the terrible inner critic that I hate everything I draw. I don't know.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's all wrong. I messed it all up.
Listen, if you were terrible, you wouldn't be on our show right now. The early
Yeah.
life coach. I like what I liked what I saw, and I really like what you're doing with this. And we're noticing that there's been an influx of horror back into comics recently.
Hmm. Yeah.
I know
Uh,
Creature Commandos is coming back. You just Blood Hunt just was a huge crossover at Marvel, and all of the Universal Monsters over at Image.
Oh yeah,
There's
Images.
so many,
Yeah, racking up the Universal
know,
Monster series.
so many horror
mhm.
comics right now on the stands, which it hasn't been like that for a while. I think it's because of guys like you. I mean, the art plays well into the horror section.
And you see a lot more of these say supernatural related characters from Marvel coming back, like Elsa Bloodstone
Mhm.
and yeah, there seems to
Werewolf
be
by
this
Night has
prominence.
its own series now.
Werewolf by Night. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you were saying that you were reading the EC Comics reprints, right?
Yeah.
When you were a kid. Did any of the influence of those go into any of this stuff?
Oh,
Do
I
you
think it's
find-
all there. I mean, all of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I always love the horror stuff. I was always big on horror, sci-fi, fantasy stuff. So like, any time there's an opportunity to draw a book like that, is great to take on, because superhero stuff, it's not always that dark, or with the horror stuff,
Yeah.
like you guys said, like right now it seems to be a cool little uptick in the horror stuff, like the Blood Hunt, all the
Yeah.
vampire stuff, and I was able to do some pretty violent stuff with the book before Blood Hunt. I did the Laura Kinney tie-in for Blood Hunt,
Mm-hmm.
which is just a
Yeah,
one-off book. But I liked drawing that book a lot because that was a pretty uh straight up like slasher horror
it was
type
violent.
book. And I thought maybe Marvel would not like what I was doing, because I kind of let loose. Was like, yeah, I'm just gonna cut people up, vampires up, and have blood everywhere, blah blah blah. But that one made it through. Other times I've been caught. Not I don't do it on purpose, but like
Right.
S&P, which is Standards and Practices of Marvel, will come in back and say, hey, no, you can't do this blood here. There's too much of this, too much of that. So I think whenever they want to do it, the whole blood hunt stuff, I feel like they just let it fly. And I think
They are right now.
there's a lot of
They have the Red Band now. They're doing the Red Band comics.
right,
Where
yeah, that's that too. So yeah, with the horror stuff, with the EC books, and just coming up. I watched a lot of horror movies and stuff as a kid. Like I read a lot of Stephen King. Like I like horror books, and just give me more and more. So
Yeah.
definitely influences like what I do and how I do it.
Yeah. I'm a big horror reader, and among comics and books and stuff.
Mhm.
And did you check out any of just as a side note, have you checked out any of the new EC stuff, the Epitaphs from the Abyss and
I haven't.
Cruel Universe? It's worth a look.
Yeah.
do you still collect? Are you still buying comic books?
I'll say I'm a trade waiter. I think is that
Yes.
still a term.
Mhm.
I'll just pick up books. I like it when they're sort of complete,
Mhm.
and like the story is all together.
Yeah.
I'm not too big on running out and get floppies every week.
Mhm.
So yeah, I definitely have calmed down over the years from collecting. I used to
Brian's laughing because I have not.
I was gonna say so is Chad.
I have
Yeah.
not. I think I'm up to something like like 40 different titles a month.
I don't know how you keep up with it.
Yeah, how do you keep up?
How do you know what's going on?
I don't.
You
And my brain doesn't work.
you would
as
probably make a
good.
really good editor at a comic book company.
I
Be
probably
able to
would.
keep all this continuity running all
No
at the
one
same
said
time.
I'm doing that. But yeah, in my early 50s now, I forget what I read and have like
Yeah, and you're like, oh, it's a little new.
like every once in a while I'll be reading and I'm like, oh yeah, he's a vampire now. Oh, I keep forgetting
Yeah,
that Miles Morales is a vampire now.
yeah. Well, I think back when I was a kid and was younger, and I would buy everything, and I was like, how do I keep up with all those storylines? You know, because I look out, go to the store now, and or I kind of have an idea what's going on with Marvel with the books that I
Right.
do and stuff. I'm like, geez, man, like how do you keep up? How do you keep it straight?
I think it stops us from losing our faculties. I think if you read comic books, you have so much going on in your head. You can't have Alzheimer's because you have so much going on. So
You may
medically,
not.
I think comics cures Alzheimer's.
You might be right, though. You
Oh
might be
my
right.
God.
You know any comic readers who have Alzheimer's?
You have to be careful what you say on the internet. People believe this
I
stuff.
know, that's why I say it.
Yeah,
You also did a long run on X-Force.
yeah. The X-Force stuff. Yeah, that was my longest run on
Yeah.
a book. Period. That was about 3 years. I think I did 25 or 27 issues. Um, and I really liked working on that because with that Krakoa stuff, the aesthetics of the X world, like just it was so organic and like
Right.
plant-based and stuff. And I love doing that because I would much rather draw that stuff any day than like cities and buildings
Yeah.
and stuff. Which switching over to Blood Hunt was that. I mean, it
Cities and
was sort of a
buildings.
Spider-Man-ish book set in Brooklyn, New York, and
Right.
I hadn't drawn that stuff in a long time. I was like, buildings, like cars and buildings. Like I like drawing just coming up with like crazy designs that were just more organic shapes and just vegetation, plant life, and all that stuff. And that's always been my case too. So
Well, I loved your stuff on Old Man Quill too, where you're doing more dystopian society and you're not really buildings, but like destroy things.
yeah, well, thank you. Yeah, but that's same deal there. Like, you know, I love drawing. More because the post-apocalyptic stuff gives you a lot more room. Like, you don't have to be so perfect in
Right.
my head,
Yeah.
and you can just like, yeah, you can. I like to draw lots of rubble, lots of stuff, like just crumbly stuff. Like, it's just more interesting to me than like clean lines and like in buildings that are intact and stuff like that. So, um, yeah, but. At least all these books give you opportunity to do everything, and it just helps you as an artist to develop and to be able to take whatever the script's going to throw at you, because you never know what are in these scripts, prior to uh, getting the gig.
Right.
Yeah, I was going to ask that. Do they match you up with the writer first, or do they just sort of hand you the script? And how much do you and the writer actually work together once the script is done?
That's a good question. I usually don't know anything until I get an email that says, "Hey, here's this book. Here's a summary of the book.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the schedule. Can you do it?"
Right.
And it's just like yes or no, and I probably haven't met the writer yet. I haven't met anybody. It's just an editorial, setting everything up. And they say, okay, yeah, I'll do it. Sure. This book sounds interesting. I'll do it. And then from there, it's like, I feel like it's up to us as the writer and the artist to decide how much back and forth we want to do
Right.
over the course of the book, because again, this stuff is very siloed. I'm in Massachusetts doing my thing, and there's a writer in New Jersey doing their thing. Marvel's in New York, so it's like we're not all in the office together.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of emailing everyone back and forth and how cordial you want to be and how conversative you want to be. And I usually make it a point to make phone calls and have like a meeting, a Zoom meeting or something, at least once over the course of a book, just to get to know each other and talk about the book, and just kind of see like what the writer's vision is, and kind of give a background of what I'm seeing or what I might want to do. And sometimes it clicks really well, and there's a lot of back and forth, and sometimes there's just not, and it's just handing in pages, and it's just like, okay, thanks for the gig, see you, and you move on to the next gig. So I'd say with the Blood Hunter stuff, me and Erica have become pretty friendly, and we've had lots of conversations throughout the past I don't even know how 5, 6 months or so about the book and just our lives and stuff like that. So that's really cool. And I know I talked a lot with Ben Percy on X-Force.
Hmm.
He's a really nice guy. And yeah, so I mean it's nice to meet everybody, but it's also limited by the remote work and
Yeah.
emails and stuff like that.
Is there any writer you'd really like to work with right now?
Um, like one that I have worked with or
Look,
that I
one that you
want
have, one that you know, but you would love to work on their stuff.
to. I'm trying to think. I think if I ever got the opportunity, I think it'd be cool to do something with like, um, I always like Rick Remender stuff. I know he's
Oh
over at
yeah.
Image,
Hmm.
uh, which I don't even know if it's Remender or Remender. Like people pronounce it differently. I don't
Yeah.
know. Probably butcher everybody's names. I definitely like his stuff a lot.
Yeah. His stuff's cool.
I'm trying to think of other guys around here. I feel like I'm so into different artists that like the writing. I'm always like, oh yeah, who wrote that or what's going on over there? So, um,
Well, what artists do you like then? Who you?
let's- yeah, I mean, some of my favorites are, Chris, again, Bacalo. I don't know which one it is.
Mhm.
Please correct me if you guys know, but I always loved his stuff. Jerome Opeña stuff. I loved
Yeah.
Olivia Coipel stuff. It's one of my biggest
Oh, she's
uh,
really good. Yeah.
influence. He's just incredible. Travis Charest, who I always liked growing up. Um, I mean, Lino Yu, and he's still
Yeah.
over there doing covers.
Hmm.
Um, try to Greg Tashini, and he did Low with Remender.
Yeah.
Love his stuff. Um,
Have you
yeah,
had,
sorry,
speaking of Rick Remender, have you had a chance to check out Sacrificers?
I read the first issue.
Yeah, it's good.
Um,
It's the
I,
series is
I
really good. It's coming together really well.
good, yeah,
Yeah.
solid first issue. I love the art. Yeah, and I just feel like he's pumping out books right now over an Image, and obviously he made that announcement or he signed some kind of deal
Yeah,
with them.
he has his own imprint.
Yeah, his own imprint is just launching books left and right. So
Yeah, yeah. It's called I think it's called Giant Generator. I think it's
yep.
his imprint. Yeah, it's really he's putting out some good stuff. He's always been really good though. When you work with a writer, do you like them to provide you with like a really full script, or would you rather it be something a little sketchier?
I actually like the more detail in the script, the better.
Hmm.
I've worked with both. Mostly, I've worked with scripts that are pretty full and pretty um, well spelled out and
Hmm.
stuff. Um, Couple times I've worked with like really loose scripts with like really not much going on, and
Yeah.
for some reason I don't enjoy that as much as having the most down in that script because I don't know why because I can tell I can totally see how some artists would be like, no, I want to be able to you know uh, improvise more and more, and I don't want to be shackled down by too much direction. But I never felt that way, and even with all the detail in a script, I always feel like the writers are always like, do what you want anyway.
Right.
Uh, but it helps me, I think, see their vision as much as possible, and I try to like play off that as much as I can. And plus, I will say this though, also because time is so tight sometimes I like the more information in the script, the better because it's
Mhm.
less than I need to go back and think of stuff and like
Right.
fill in the gaps because like I have to like get drawing, and Marvel only gives me enough time to like draw the book. I don't have time to like
Well, how much time do you
write it.
have? So how much time do you have to turn around a book?
Generally they'll give you 5 weeks.
So okay, so from
Okay.
you get the script from the writer, and you have 5 weeks to complete the book.
Generally, yes. I
Okay.
mean, some cases they may give you a little bit more time. But if you're on the monthly book that has to like keep coming out, it's generally 5 weeks a
Okay.
schedule.
Right.
Um, but that's going to include all your prep work, all your thumbnails or layout stages, like all your pencils, all your inks, the whole deal.
So you ink yourself?
I do, yeah,
Wow.
Yeah,
yeah.
That's a lot of work.
It's a lot, yeah. I mean, I
Yeah.
decided, yeah, I used to do pencils, but then I decided to ink myself way back because um, I felt that an inker came in and kind of changed the art that I did, and I wanted to just do as much as I could to
Mhm.
make it most reflective of my ability as an artist.
Yeah.
But also, when you do that, you get the ink rate too, so you
Oh, okay.
technically can make more money.
Sure.
So I was like, well, yes, I'm doing that because if you're doing just pencils, I mean, it's only so much money, and then so the inks are help out.
Yeah, and the inks are what really define the shading and the art, the lines and all that other stuff that brings the art to life in a sense.
Sure, I would say I do most of the work in ink. My pencils are very loose because I know I'm making myself, so I can just bang those out and then have an idea, and then the real work and all the detail stuff is just comes with the inks. The
Mhm.
inks what really what really defines it and pulls it together, and I think that's what makes like my stuff look like my stuff.
Mhm. So
Because the
young
pencils,
artists out there should learn how to ink themselves.
The inker is important.
He's
We just had
not a
Scott.
tracer.
We had Scott Koblish on last week.
Mhm,
Scott has been inking for he inked for Marv Wolfman for many, many, many years, and he was
mhm.
got just talking about the process of inking and you know how difficult it is to keep the artist's image alive as you ink it.
Well, it's
Sure.
funny because everyone really focuses on pencilers and
Yeah.
writers, but not a lot on inkers,
No.
and when you look at how the process comes together, the inking is a huge, huge part of defining the art.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah.
Not just a tracer.
right. Yeah, but you
Not
don't
just
get a lot of people looking for inkers autographs at
No, you just
conventions or
but
anything.
and but in
Yeah,
all honesty, you don't have a lot of inkers at conventions.
true,
So
I guess.
the
Yeah,
convention loaded
fair
with
enough.
writers and artists,
Hmm.
and every once in a while you have an inker that's well known, but
Right.
not many.
Fair enough.
So
Fair enough.
and so you're a penciler inker, so
Artist,
there you go. You can put that
full illustrator.
full art.
yeah.
So if there was a character, which would you like to work on? A character you've never worked on before that you would really like to do a book with?
I would probably I think about a lot about Thor,
Okay.
working with Thor, just because I mean the fantasy aspect of that is a big draw. Um, I guess I technically did a book way back with Thor, but it was like uh, when Marvel had there was like a sideline of books that were like based off a video game or something, and the Avengers video game that came out way
Okay.
back. So I did a one-off on Thor, but it really wasn't like the Thor. It wasn't the core
Yeah.
book. So I always thought that would be cool. Also, I just lost it, but um, I don't know why I can't remember. Oh yeah, Doctor Strange I think would be cool. Again, because there's just the magical element of that and sort of the imaginative things that they can do with him. I think would be really interesting to do. Yeah,
Yes.
and maybe Batman.
Everyone says Batman. Who wouldn't want to do Batman?
Yeah, throw in some Batman.
Everyone loves Batman. Who doesn't want to do Batman?
Doctor Strange is an interesting one because so many really good artists have sort of made their name doing some Doctor Strange stuff. I mean, you have Ditko and you have, um, the name's escaping me now, but
The girl too.
yeah, because the one who did all the psychedelic kind of stuff for Strange after Ditko. Ah, someone in the comments yell at me and please
Yeah.
tell me I'm
How
forgetting.
Brian is slacking again. But so, is there anything coming up that you can talk about?
Coming up,
You could say no. That's okay.
nope. Blood Hunters is as far as I can go.
Okay.
Yeah, otherwise, yeah, the project itself that I'm about to start, again, choosing not to say anything right now.
Okay.
Um, Other than that, though, like, yeah, the Blood Hunters will still come out, a couple more issues of that,
Well, two more issues of that, right? Five
two
issues.
more issues of that. Yep. Um, Otherwise, I have a long commission list that I'm trying to get through. Um,
Now you bring up good. Then how does that work? So how is your commissions? How do you do commissions?
well, for a
Because you're
long
not at
time,
conventions, right? You said you haven't been really doing a lot of conventions. So
correct.
how does
Yeah,
your commission thing work?
yeah, the commissions I did, I took a list at the beginning of the year back when Cadence was my rep. And
Okay.
I don't know if you guys, yeah, I don't know how on the up and up you guys and the whole Cadence stuff that kind of fell apart earlier this year. Um, Pretty much the artists all left Cadence to do their own thing. I did as well. So now I have a different rep. But before that had happened, I opted to take a commission list, which they uh, offered through their website,
Right.
and we promoted on social media and stuff like that. So that list sold out, which was good. And just after that, all kinds of crazy stuff happened, and then Cadence really isn't Cadence anymore. And so I had to kind of been working through those commissions on my own, which is fine. But I had to go back and try to figure out who are these people, and like where I had to find their emails, and to figure out how to get in contact with them, because I'm like, I have to do this now. I have to send
Right.
these out, yada yada yada. But that was all taken care of. We got through that. But then I got so busy with blood hunters and stuff that it's been tough to do the commissions, which is why I generally don't take too many, because it takes so long for me to get through them. But also the blood hunters book, I was actually not. So I didn't know I was going to do blood hunters.
Okay.
There was a different gig that they offered me that was much shorter and stuff. So I said, sure, I'll do that. We'll do these commissions, blah blah blah. And then they switched it up and said, hey, how about you don't do the one-off book, you do the whole blood hunters series? Well, of course I'll take that. I mean, that's juicy work and stuff. But through that, it kind of pushed my ability back to get through the commission. So I'm trying to get through those, and then I might do another list. If I do that, that'll be through the rep that I have now. And
So if someone wants one, how would they go about getting on that new list if it comes out?
the new list, well, you can either Instagram me, I write people's names down or whatever. I've been contacted through my Instagram. Yeah. Because I get asked, hey, are you doing commissions right now? And I say, not right now, but eventually I will do it again. Otherwise, my rep is Jeff Mart, Jeff Martin, Jeff M Art, .com, whenever it is.
Okay.
And they can probably contact through them as well. And he's a really awesome dude, and he has an Instagram as well. So that's pretty much the only way you can do it for now, until I eventually announce it via the Instagram and stuff like that.
You're taking commissions again. And the last list, how many commissions did you take?
That was like, I'm looking at the list right now. It was like 12 of those things, I think. I think there were 10 spots that I opted to do, and then a couple more just kind of snuck in there. So
And that's good. That's good extra money, right?
Yep, that's good extra money. Yep.
Now what's normally the turnaround on something like that?
I'd like it to be like like a month, but these ones, unfortunately, I mean, these ones were taken now 10 months ago, and I'm still I've gotten only 4 or 5 of them done, so it's been a slow process.
Yeah.
Which I'm always thankful for everybody to be patient with that, because I feel bad, because I don't want to take that long, and they signed up for that stuff in January, I think, and I'm still trying to get through it, so it's tough.
Yeah.
Well, people have to understand that you're working on other
busy.
stuff too, and that's the stuff you squeeze it in when you can. It's Marvel, so
Yeah,
it's Marvel.
You push them back.
Yeah, I mean, it's also parenthood. I don't know if you guys have kids, but
yeah.
My kids are old. My kids are in their 20s.
Yeah, you're all set.
Yeah, yeah, you think, right?
Yeah, no, don't even start thinking that.
Yeah, I don't think it ever ends, does it?
You're never set.
No.
My daughters are 24 and 22, and it's
Oh boy.
it never goes away. You're never not doing parent stuff.
Yep. I got one at 20 and one at 17, and it's
The 17-year-old's going to kill you.
yeah, eventually. Eventually.
So are you doing any shows? You have anything scheduled? Any appearances scheduled coming up?
I don't.
Okay.
Okay.
Nah, I've been laying low for a while. And that was just because I was super busy,
Right.
both with the book or these commissions and stuff, and it's been a busy year at home with everything, so it's just like I I just was trying to get through the work, and basically I wanted to get through Blood Hunters and then switch it up a bit and see what I could do in the next like
Mhm.
I don't know 3 or 6 months.
Okay.
Awesome.
Is Cloak going to be in Blood Hunters? He can't say.
Who?
Yeah, I knew. That was one of like, I'm a big Cloak and Dagger fan, been for a long time, and I really liked how that they played out in Blood Hunt, and
Mhm.
how she's become like the vampire curer. Like
Yep,
that's
yep.
how you're portraying it now. But every time I read it, I end the issue. My first thought is, I wonder if Cloak's coming back because we really haven't seen where he ended up in the original Blood Hunt story when they all finally broke through with that and they got rid of the darkness. And all right, before we go, I have 4 rapid fire questions.
Oh, here we go.
Nothing
Here's the hard hitting ones.
nothing too hard hitting. Comic book related. Answer them as best as you can. Who would win in a fight, Superman or the Hulk?
I'd say Superman.
Okay. Who's your favorite X-Men?
Colossus.
Oh, good one.
Best Marvel villain?
Uh, I always liked Apocalypse.
Okay.
Oh yeah, good one.
What character do we not see enough of?
Hmm.
Not enough of. Oof. Uh,
NFL Super Pro.
I'm not enough of. I'm trying to think of some of the stuff that I've I almost want to say Mr. Sinister, but
Okay.
He did show up in the Krakoan era, but
he did.
yeah, but it wasn't my. I felt like it wasn't my Sinister. Like I wanted the
No,
Bruno
yeah,
one, you know.
I agree. I
Yeah.
agree.
Should I put you on the spot with those 4 questions?
Yeah, it was a tough one.
No, that's fine. I like that stuff. I always feel like I panic and then I'll think of a better answer later. Like, oh, that
When
character.
you're sitting by yourself, so I should have said that.
You don't understand. Tonight, before I go to bed, the artist who I was trying to think of for Doctor Strange is going to pop into my head. I'm going to be like, ah,
You will.
but it'll be too late.
My character was Jack of Hearts. I'm a huge Jack of Hearts fan. I'm probably the only person in the world, but
You're definitely the only person.
they re-put him into. I don't know if you read. She's been in She-Hulk for the last.
Jack of Hearts. Really?
Yeah, he's dating She-Hulk now, so he actually brought him back. He's in a
That's a
monthly
weird one.
series. There you
That's
go.
a weird one.
I'm a Jack of Hearts.
That is a weird one.
Anything else you want to promote? How do people find you online?
Yeah, the online is just gonna be the Instagram because I'm an older curmudgeon about the internet and I don't like it. And
Yeah, good for you.
I probably way too quiet on social media than I should be.
Mhm.
So the Instagram is just at Robert Gill Art. I tried it, but again, like I don't know how people as the artists of these books uh keep up with all their posting and stuff online all day because I'm like, when are you doing your work? I feel like it's just tough for me even to keep up. If I check in with the Instagram or whatever to look, and I'm like, man, some of these guys are posting like 1, 2, 3 times a day and stuff. And I'm like, when are you doing your work? Like,
Rob Liefeld posts like 20 posts a day right now. He's
But
always he's working. He's always posting.
is he working?
But we understand what you're saying because we're 2 50-year-old guys who decided, you know what? Why don't we start a YouTube channel with no idea how to
No idea how to do it.
do it?
well, that's fine. But then you guys must remember what life was like before the internet.
Oh my God, yes.
100.
Right? Sure.
Sometimes I lay awake at night thinking about that.
Yeah.
I think,
We honestly miss it.
Yeah.
well, I think about all the time. I miss it too. I'm like, man, we didn't have any phones, we didn't have any internet. You just were doing your thing, and like you
Yep.
picked up Wizard magazine every month, and you read that for your comic book, like
Yeah, or comics
you
channel.
know,
Yeah.
info.
Well,
Right.
we assume that if there was no internet right now, we would be doing a fanzine.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely.
But,
And I think a lot of people would be grateful for that.
yeah, you still want to do it, so there you go. You keep saying it.
I think people kind of bringing back zines. You guys should just do it anyway.
I've seen some really cool ones out there.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
there you
some
go.
really nice ones.
You could take that. I do all this stuff.
Yeah.
You could at least spend a little bit of time doing something.
I don't like working. That's why I
No,
talk
you
about
don't.
comics.
I know. But
All right.
Robert, thank you for being on. Really appreciate it. You
Well,
are
thanks for having me. Yeah.
welcome to come back on when you can reveal to us what the new projects are.
Yeah, when you have the new one to plug,
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Plug.
just
So
reach out.
whenever you're ready. So we will. I'll end the recording right there.